Hi, this is HardballRetro. Welcome to the Retrodome. This will be a tutorial on how to conduct a draft using Front Page Sports Baseball, the 1994 edition. The game was published in 1994 by Sierra. It was developed by Dynamics. There are 63 people listed in the credits on Moby Games, so we're going to let the intro play briefly here. It goes through a few of the credits, and then we'll jump right in and get started. Okay, so let's jump in here. Okay, now what we want to do to create a draft league is we're going to go to Association and New, and you're going to set the number of teams here. The source league that I'm drafting from is the 1994 season. So I've got 28 teams. You can set career or single season mode. So career mode would be similar to the games that are currently available today, where there's players that retire, fictional players become added to the free agent pool, and so forth. I'm just going to do a single season. And there's two 14-team leagues, and League 1 is two 5-team divisions and one 4-team division, and the same with League 2. So you got to make sure those items are selected, click accept, and then we have the source association. I'm using this one. It's called BB Thanks, and I believe that was included in the maybe like the third patch that was released for this. The original game, as shipped, was probably shipped prematurely, in my opinion. Contained numerous bugs. There were several patches issued for this game, and even with this the third patch, I think it was, I still was kind of not satisfied with the game, and I really tried to like this game. There were a lot of cool features that it introduced, but ultimately I kind of shelved it. I did give their later efforts a shot anyway, and I think Front Page Sports Baseball Pro 98 season is the best of the three. So I believe the steps that I'm doing here are going to be pretty similar for all three versions, but I've been having great difficulty getting the 96 and the 98 version running. in VirtualBox or elsewhere. This game was DOS based, the 94 version, 96 and 98. You've got to run in Windows 95 or 98. So a couple of caveats there. If you're going to try to locate a copy of this and play it on your modern PC, you're going to have trouble running it. You won't be able to run it in native mode. You'll have to run it probably in VirtualBox for the 96 and 98. 94 you can run in DOSBox. Alright, so my association, I'm going to call it, just call it 94 Draft. 94 Draft League. There we go. And then for the league, we've got National, League 2 American. Alright, and then when you have one of these checked off here, you can type in the divisions. East, Central, and West. And then if you click these radio buttons, you'll see the team names populate over here. They didn't have the appropriate license, so we've got fake team nicknames here. You can adjust those if you'd like. For this tutorial, I don't think I'm gonna bother. Alright, and West here. Alright, we're going to click continue. Dump all players in the free agent pool and redraft. Yes. I'm going to click yes to that. Copy historical player stats. Yes. Alright, now it's going to process. And this takes a moment to chunk through all this data. Okay, and then we're going to select full season here. It's up to you if you want to do a short or a half season. I'm going to click full season. I'm going to use the historical schedule. Association is ready for the free agent draft. You must run the draft before the association can proceed. When you're ready to begin the draft, select Start Resume Draft from the Do menu on the association data screen. Okay, cools. Let's see here. Change these league abbreviations. NL, AL. My draft leagues, I like to use the DH in all leagues. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay. And now I want to set one team to human managed so that I'm making the selections. All the others will be computer GM. The computer is going to make the selection. So I'm going to change team. I'm going to pick my California Halos here. Alright. And I want to look at team data, I believe. Yes, I'll save the changes I made there. Alright, so two things you gotta change here. By default, these are all computer. I'm going to set it to human ownership, but I also have to uncheck the computer GM for the free agent draft. And actually, I don't know if I want to change this. I guess if I was going to fast sim, I would want these other things on. Alright. I'm going to leave those checked for now. And then we're going to go to team. Where is it? No, association data, I think. Yes. Alright, everything here looks right. Do, and then start resume draft. Alright. So it's going to go through and sort all the players. Alright, looks like Pittsburgh Buccaneers are the first, have the first selection here. So if I go to do and start continue draft. Alright, so now we have, they're making their selections here. Rafael Palmeiro, Roberto Alomar, and so forth. Alright, so the computer is going to keep making their selections until it's my turn. And I can see players coming off the board that I would have liked to have, obviously. And we'll see what's around by the time it's my pick. I didn't bother to look and see there is a way to show the draft picks, whose turn it is, or the order. A draft order is what I'm trying to say. There goes Dave Justice. Okay, Timmy Salmon's gone. Would have liked to have Tim Salmon, and he goes one pick before it's my turn. Of course. So if I want to sort here, I'm looking at every player right now. Oh, here we go. Show draft order. All right, so and scroll down a bit, and I am the 20th pick out of 28. So show historical data. Let's try that. And okay, so over here you've got contact hitting, power hitting, speed, fielding, and I'm gonna have to look up what AS means. Let me check that. I've got a PDF of the manual here, so arm strength. Okay, so let's look at power hitting. Who's the best power hitter available? Yeah, it does take a few seconds to resort this. This can be a little bit tedious. Alright, well, Juan Gonzalez is still out there. Matt Williams, Bobby Bonilla, Kevin Mitchell, Albert Bell. Okay, interesting. I think these ratings are from like 0 to 99 or something like that, so you can, the higher the rating, the better for these guys. Obviously, I'm looking at batters now, so what if I do pitching stats? Maybe there's a good pitcher out here that I want. Alright, so fastball, curveball, slider, changeup, and sinker, I guess. Endurance. Let me check what all these are. It's just not a game that I've played in quite a while. CO is control. Holding runners. Okay. Alright. Mostly intuitive as far as these numbers go. Alright, who's got the best fastball that's left? Right. Tim Davis, John Wetland, Randy Johnson still out there. Okay. He's got a 99 endurance. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Randy Johnson here. Pedro J. Martinez is still out there. Alright, yeah, let's go with Randy. Alright, so that's my choice. I hit OK, and now it's going to continue on with the next. Wrap up round 1 here. There goes Wally Joyner off the board, one of my favorite players of all time. But this time frame, 93, 94-ish, he was on the Royals then. He was still, a really good contact hitter. Didn't hit for much power. His best seasons came in, I'd say his first 2 years were probably his best years, and also 91, I think, was a pretty good year. Nothing wrong with his other years, but his power definitely slacked off after the 87 season. Although you could say that for a lot of people. The 87 was considered the rabbit ball year. Okay, I got Charlie Hayes. Oh, Ricky Henderson came off the board. See, if I had sorted on speed, I would have saw that Ricky was still out there. Well, we're going to have to figure something else out, I guess, for our first offensive player. I think we're going to go with a batter here. Oh, there goes Matt Williams. Right in front of my pick, of course. Alrighty. Let's see who's there. Well, most of these pitchers are still here. Pedro Martinez is still there. I'm going to look at batting and fielding. Okay, Tony Phillips. I can also set the criteria once we get a little bit deeper into the draft here when I'm looking for specific positions. Okay, Molitor, Gwynn, Grace, Larkin, Jeff Bagwell, Kevin Mitchell, Alan Trammell, Wade Boggs, let's see, based on power, just curious. So Gonzalez is still here, Bell is still here. Piazza's there. I mean, position scarcity, slugging catcher like Piazza. I think I'm going to go with him. I know he's not the best defender, but there goes Gwynn off the board, of course. And again, your picks might have been quite different than mine here. I did not do any draft prep. Am I familiar with most of these guys? Yes. Am I in agreement with some of the ratings here? Probably not. These are things you can adjust. So within Front Page Sports Baseball, there is a separate program called Data In, and that's how you modify the player stats and ratings. So you have to go outside the program for some reason. I'm not quite sure why they did it that way, but that's what we have there. So separate application. So in this case, you launch Data In from DOSBox, you would select this association and then edit players. I'm going to make a separate video for the creating and editing teams and players. Alright, and now we're back to my pick here. Alright, so still some really, really good players here in round number 3. At the trailing end of round 3. I do want to go back to pitchers. I was talking there, I was not paying attention, so I'm not quite sure what pitchers came off the board. Oh, got a young Manny Ramirez out there. Let's see here. Tom Gordon with that curveball. And got Pedro J. Martinez still out here. Like a 1-2 punch of Randy and Pedro, I think. There we go. Now, I'm definitely leaving some good players on the board here, but we'll have to see how this shakes out. So the plan is I'm going to run the draft here, and then we'll either simulate a few games or play an exhibition game at the end of this. But yeah, maybe we'll do what I did in some of these other draft videos. We'll split it into 3 videos. One will be the draft, one will be the simulating the season, one will be reviewing the stats at the end. So maybe we'll do it that way. And yeah, and I think when I do the create edit players, we'll do the exhibition game. So we can still use the 94 draft league results for the exhibition game. So yeah, that's probably what I'll do there. See all these good players coming off the board here. Okay, we're back for round 4 selection. And I think I'm going to go back to batting, although there's definitely some really good pitchers here. I don't want to neglect the offense and wind up with a bunch of platoon situations or worse. You could sit here too long and create an awesome pitching staff, and then look over here and be like, oh, this is not good. All right, so Tony Phillips, Barry Larkin, Jeff Bagwell. I'm kind of surprised that Bagwell is still out here. Let's look at power hitters. Kevin Mitchell, Incaviglia, Palmer, Tettleton, Carter. Okay, pretty decent there. This is Sammy Sosa before he became Sammy Sosa. Actually, I think in '93 he was pretty decent. I don't recall his '94 numbers off the top of my head. Manny Ramirez. And just for giggles, let's look at speed. Who else is out here with decent speed? Nobody really jumping off that list for me, so I'm going to go back to contact hitters. Barry Larkin's a good power speed combo, but I think I'm going to go with Bagwell. Let's Bagwell it. Alright, Jeff Bagwell it is. Ray Lankford was on a lot of my fantasy teams back in the day. Oh, Donnie Baseball towards the tail end of his career there. Eric Davis, awesome player when he was on the field. Now, some of the names you see here you might question, like I just saw Ray Holbert come off the board and be wondering why the computer is selecting some of these guys. Ray McDavid, it could be based on their ratings here, so again, I question how some of these ratings were generated. But that's what's going to make these drafts interesting. Of course, you can go in and tweak these ratings. You can go down the rabbit hole. Oh, there goes Larkin and Mitchell. Okay, so McRae, Wayne Kirby. So yeah, if you wanted to put current teams into this, Negro League teams, All-American girls, Baseball League, Japanese League, you could do whatever you like with that data in program. You could, but I'll show you that in the other video. Alright, California Halos are up. Let's see. Okay, let's see who we're going to take here. Check out the power hitting. Manny Ramirez still out there. Klesko, Incaviglia, Palmer, Tettleton. Willie Green as a shortstop. Let's see here. Yeah, we've got our catcher. Take a look at the pitching side for a minute. And there's Tom Gordon again, still out there. Saberhagen looks pretty good number-wise. We've got some decent closers here. Let's look at endurance. David Cohn. Jack McDowell, Juan Guzman, Chan-Ho Park, Chuck Finley, Mark Langston, John Smoltz. And Finley's got a high endurance, looks like pretty good control. His other numbers aren't amazing. Alright, I'm going to go with Smoltzy here. some of the speed guys coming off the list there. Oh, there's BJ Surhoff, Vizquel. Alright, looks like I'm up again here. Gonna go back to batters. There. Although I still see Cone, Finley, Langston on the list. Doc Gooden down there. Alex Fernandez. Oh, it came back with the position. I was wondering why a bunch of pitchers were listed here. So of the contact hitters remaining, Phillips, Trammell, Boggs, got Travis Fryman down here. And there's probably a way to do it. I haven't found it yet, digging through the manual to see like historical stats here rather than the ratings, but alright, just for giggles, I'm going to go off the grid here and get Willie Green, shortstop. Oh, Cal Ripken was out there. How did I miss that? Again, that's some of the ratings here. I don't know if I should have looked at fielding or arm strength or where Ripken would have popped up in the top 25 here, but whatever. This is just for fun anyway, right? It's just a tutorial, so I'm not overly concerned with who winds up on my roster. So I think batting-wise, I've got catching, first base, and shortstop now covered. I'll probably alternate with batting and pitching a little bit more here. And then we'll dig in and fill in the positions I'm missing. Okay, Hal Morris, Mike Stanley, the Philadelphia Quakers, the Houston Cosmos. Interesting team nicknames that they chose, since they couldn't get the licensed team names from MLB. I don't know about couldn't or wouldn't. Didn't want to pay for the licensing, I guess. But they did. They do have the player names at least. I see up there Pete Incaviglia, but at least not right now. We're not going for you. Chili Davis. I'm a big Chili Davis fan. I'm hoping he's around one more. Maybe we'll wait one more round here, because I did want to go to pitchers. And it looks like Chili does list him as a right fielder. Okay, I mean he's pretty much a DH though. Alright, so here's Tom Gordon again with the curveball. Let's look at our endurance again. Saberhagen's still here. Drabek. Wetland is still out there. Endurance-wise, we still have Coney. We still have Chuck Finley. I'm going to get an angel here. We're going to Chuck Finley it. Chuck Finley it is, round 7. Okay. Alright, more guys going off the board. Interesting mix of player names coming off the board here. Alright, and even though there's a number of good pitchers here, I'm going to flip back to the batters. I'm going to look at contact hitters. And Tony Phillips is still here. I mean, he's only qualified at second, though. No, left field and second. Okay. Not much power here. Tony Phillips. Mark McGwire. He wasn't showing up on my power list from what I recall, so again, that's one of the quirks of their rating system. Not a big fan of how they did this, but I'm curious to know who else had a similar experience to me when they picked this game up. It was, I don't know, to me, the reviews or the previews of the game back in the day, the graphics, everything about it looked great. And when I fired it up, I had just tons of problems, at least with the 94 edition. I don't remember if I ever did play the 98 game back when it was released. I did try it out a few years ago, and I found it to be much better than the 94 and the 96 game. So do what you will with that. But let's look at power. we'll think about pitching. Let's see here. Okay. I'm gonna get Jilly Davis here, and then I'll worry about a pitcher next round since they seem to. So, let's see here. I need. Oh, look at Bo Jackson out there. Okay. Fryman. All right, I'm gonna flip back to pitching. All right, let's check out the fastball column here. John Wetland, so I could pick up my closer here. Got Eckersley with great control. Yeah. All right. Yep. We're gonna John Wetland it here. Okay. So probably see some different numbers on the screen here, and that's because I figured out how to look at the historical stats instead of the ratings. I paused briefly, cracked open the manual, located the right information. So here's how we do that. Click on the Do option on the menu, go to Change Columns. All right, go down. We had it on player ratings, and there were a bunch of ratings up here for the pitchers and batters. Go to Statistical Totals, and now we can change, we can pick their actual stat categories that you want. So let's say I wanted to, right, I'm changing where I had the win column. Let's just change it to shutouts briefly, just so I'll show you. Okay, shutouts. No, I want complete games. No, I want inherited runners, whatever, right? So now let's go back up to wins like I had it. I know wins isn't really a great reference point, but I'm using it. All right, so now I can see we've got several pitchers with over 20 wins still out here. Somehow Greg Maddux is still here, so that's kind of crazy to me. I'm probably, you know what, let's just go ahead and take Greg Maddux. You know, why is he still here? All right, Greg Maddux coming off the board. All right. Yeah, I'm not honestly sure what the algorithm is for the computer GM here. Definitely makes some odd picks. And a number of catchers coming off the board here, definitely. Steve Sachs is a left fielder. Wow. Oh, one thing I noticed, I think I had mentioned earlier that I thought this was the 94 season, but it looks, based on the numbers, I'm relatively sure that this is the 93 season. So I haven't drilled down on Baseball Reference and confirmed that, but I believe that to be the case based on some of the numbers I recall from my fantasy leagues back in the day. Pretty sure Cal Eldred with the 16 wins and the 4.01 ERA, and Brian Harvey with his 45 saves. That was the 93 Marlins. So, at any rate, and similar to games from that time frame, you're going to probably get the season prior to when the game came out. So that would make sense if this was 94, that this would be the 93 stats. The only reason I thought it might have been 94 is because it came as part of that BB Thanks patch. So I wasn't sure if they, as part of that, gave you the 94 season. Okay, anyway, look at all these great pitchers that are still here, but let's take a look at the batters now. And on the batting side, we still have Travis Fryman, and he leads the way with 22 dingers. He can play third for me. I'm trying to remember who I got. I know I got Willie Green to play short. I think I need some outfield help still. So Derek Bell might be a nice pick. And just for giggles, let's look at steals. Derek Bell is the leader there. Average. Yeah, this is going to be skewed by a limited number of at-bats here. Maybe I just scroll down the list a little bit. Trammell, 329. Oh, I forgot that he did that towards the end of his career there. It's only 401 at-bats, but still. And Fryman, 22 homers, 300 average. I think I'm going to go with him. All right, but you can look at on base, slug. Let's look at these briefly here. Scroll up a little bit. Yeah, these are all. It looks like Fryman's the guy, right? That's where I'm headed. Travis Fryman, shortstop and third base. Okay. And okay. And I guess one of the other things I should look at is now that we're into round 12 here, I'm trying to recall who I picked. Right? I know it was Piazza. I know I've got some good pitchers. I don't have a closer yet, I don't think. Maybe we'll go closer next round. I remember Chili Davis, Bagwell, I think. Fryman and Green. I've got my left side of the infield. I think I still need a second baseman and a couple outfielders, so we'll do that. And one thing I might do towards the tail end is just maybe let the computer pick my reserves. We'll see how far I want to run with this, but if you're still here watching this, I appreciate it. This game, it's a little bit sluggish when it's making its choices here, and from what I recall, when we go to do the simulate the season video, I may show like a day or two of simulating, and then kind of run things in the background, and then bring the video back up, because it takes a while to chunk through all the games. You know, some of these games quick sim a game, or let's say a day's worth of games really quickly, like in under a minute or two, whereas I think this takes 2 to 3 minutes per game. And I don't, honestly, the stats aren't even as realistic as I'd like to see them. So for it to take that long and then not come up with kind of even semi-realistic results is kind of disappointing. But there might be some of you that have some nostalgia for this game. Maybe you enjoyed it. Maybe you didn't run into the issues that I had. Maybe it was something to do with the hardware that I was trying to run it on. So again, I don't want to dissuade anybody from playing this game if they enjoyed it in the past, or at least checking it out. Just if you want to check it off your list of old computer baseball sims to try out, please feel free to do so. Alright, so we're on round 13. I'm looking at batting here. So I took Fryman off the board. Derek Bell's still out there. And I want to see, pitching-wise, who's still here. See, this is amazing to me that those 20-game winners are still out there. I'm taking Brian Harvey because former Angel, and I want him to be my closer. So Brian Harvey's coming off the board here. All right, see if anybody decent comes off the board. There's a lot of. All right, like some of these guys aren't even real people, as far as I know, or maybe there's some like deep minor league guys, but there's definitely some names here I'm not even recognizing. So, I mean, Brudansky, that's Brudansky at the end of his career. Yeah, I'm just kind of stunned at the some of the picks here. Okay, Sandy Alomar, that's a wise pick in this round. There goes Trammell, finally. Greg Colburn had some pop in his bat, from what I recall. Pagnozzi, decent catcher. Midge Cummings was a hot prospect for a while, never really made it. Never panned out to what he was supposed to be anyway. Alright, so still a ton of relievers here, but I'm going to go back because I need some batting help. And I think Derek Bell's still out here. So there we go. Derek Bell coming off the list. Right, so apologies if you're a real person, but like, who's Kenny Shemo? You know, round 14, you still have like Tom Glavine out there. You've got, okay, and granted, some of these didn't have their best years, but you know, there's some really decent guys on the board here. I'm just kind of shocked. And I'm sensing a pattern here that the computer's not even picking any pitchers. I could be wrong. Maybe that's why all those pitchers are still out there, is that he's not picking any. Right? I feel like these are all batters coming off the board. I mean, does he not know that he needs pitching? I'm not quite understanding. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't pick up on that sooner, but these are all batters disappearing off the board. Well, I promise you I didn't tell the computer not to take any pitching, so I don't know why that's the case. Again, that might have been a bug that was fixed in a later version. We're going to continue on anyway with what we're doing here, even though that's really going to skew things in my favor. What did I say? I do need a second baseman, I think. Let's look at positions. And then let's scroll down to second base. Oh, I looked at the wrong one. Not QPAS. I want to do plus. There we go. Okay, got Brett Boone as a part-timer. We've got Jody Reed. Alright, so not much in the way of second baseman, at least as their first position. What if we do this guy? Gallego. Vizcaino. Alright, so again, I'm stuck at second base here with one of these guys. I'll go with Mike Gallego as my primary. Had 10 homers that year, 283 average. Sure, I'll take him. Alright, let's see who comes off the board here. More batters, of course. I'm really going to be curious when he starts taking pitching here. Maybe I didn't get the memo. That is odd, though. Bo Jackson, round 15. And that's the hip replacement version of Bo, but he still was a decent hitter when he came back. Okay, Joe Oliver coming off the boards. So I am going to need another second baseman. I feel like I still need an outfielder or two. But yeah, the pitching is incredible that he's not taking any pitching here. And I can only use 5 starters, so the other pitching is going to get spread around, but like there's no reason for me to just gobble up all those other guys. It's just not going to do me any good. So I'm going to focus on filling out our team as I normally would, and these pitchers have got to come off the board at some point here. Let's go to pitchers, though. Maybe I need a setup man. Mike Jackson looks pretty nice there with 81 games. Rod Beck, 48 saves. See, I don't really need a second closer here. Who else we got here? Like Xavier Hernandez looks good. So yeah, let's do somebody like that. Let's do or do I still need a starting pitcher? I had Randy, I had Pedro. I think I had Smoltz, Finley. Do I need a 5th starter? I think I do. I'm gonna leave most of the good starters out here, but I'm gonna go with a lefty. I'll go with Jimmy Key. All right, there, Jimmy Key. So I think I've got 5 starters now. Let him continue on with the computer GM's gonna take here. I feel like I can come back and get plenty of relief help, so I'll focus on filling in my gaps at outfield and get my backup infielder, backup catcher. I'll sprinkle in a relief pitcher here and there. Okay. I mean, in this respect, you would think a lot of good batters would be off the list, but I feel like there's still a couple decent ones that I can plug in the outfield. Let's see what's remaining when he winds up his picks here. Okay, good. Yeah, see, all these guys are still here. And let's go to batting. Let's just sort on at-bats for now. Okay, so like a Jeff Conine is out there, Big Dave Winfield, but I've already got Chili to be my DH. So I'm going to skip Winfield here. Let's look at slug. What kind of slug do we have left here? Well, Mike McFarlane, but I don't need a catcher. Jeffrey Hammonds. Okay, Winfield. I think Conine's the guy, right? We're going to go with Conine. There we go. Okay, another round goes by. I'm just curious when he's going to start getting pitchers here. Because I was thinking I would go to about round 25 and then let the computer pick the rest. And I think one of the problems with this, and I don't think it's anything I did, but you select an organization that has this many players in it, the computer's going to pick some of these guys that maybe have decent ratings, but they're really minor leaguers. They shouldn't be, in my opinion, shouldn't be included in this. So that's part of the issue. But why he's not taking any pitchers, I don't think that's a setting that I clicked or anything. All right, what did we still need an outfielder, I think. I can't recall. I can probably look at my roster somehow. I don't know, show. There's probably, I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I'm not overly concerned. So a left fielder. Did I get a center fielder? Maybe not. Oh no, it was what was Derek Bell? I don't recall. Doesn't matter. Wow, slug's kind of low now for who's left. How about on base? On base wise, do we have any decent people here? Anybody decent that can play the outfield and that has a decent number of at-bats? Okay, Snyder is a right field third base. Not looking very promising, is it? Yeah. So I may have to suffer at one position here. David McCarty. I'm just going to sort on center fielders here. I feel like there's not much to choose from. Okay, we have Ryan Thompson. He's actually got a decent slug. Yes, he doesn't have a full number of at-bats, but we'll figure that out. We have Scott Brocious. Lance Blankenship. Okay, well, it's really not much to choose from there. So, me thinking that I need a center fielder, I'm going to go with Ryan Thompson here. And maybe we'll platoon him with Brocious if we can get him. Or maybe I'll look at QPOS and see if there's somebody that can play center field there. Okay. Then I'll get my backup catcher, my backup infielder, and maybe take a reliever or two, and then I'll let the computer run with it. Wrap this thing up. So it seemed like this type of a feature was first available around this time frame, 1984, not 84, 1994, 95 time frame, right? That's when it was introduced in Tony La Russa Baseball 3 in 1995, and I'm not 100% certain when the full-fledged draft feature became available in, well, I know it became available in APA Baseball for Windows version, I think it was version 5 or 5.5. I just don't recall the exact year that one was available. So again, this kind of draft feature really wasn't available in prior games to my recollection. You could draft players onto teams with the advanced draft function in Baseball for Windows in previous versions, but it was kind of a manual process. There wasn't like a full-fledged draft with a draft order and a AI behind it. So just to clarify, that's what I'm talking about. All right, any center fielders QPOS? No, not really. And left over. Just gonna grab Brocious here. So I've got, he's basically my backup outfield, or backup center fielder for Thompson there. I think, unless I grab somebody that I don't remember. That's definitely possible. Alright, so round 20 coming up here. We're cranking through this. don't remember seeing anything in the manual about the way that the selections are handled as far as batters versus pitchers or anything. Now, I definitely didn't tell the computer not to take any pitching, but after a while it's like, well, why is, 22 game winner Tom Glavine still out here, or 53 saves from Randy Myers and so forth. It took me a little longer than I should have to figure that out, but I wasn't paying that close attention to the other picks, I guess. So. Okay, now let's sort on homers. We need a backup catcher. I'm just curious who else is out there. I do see McFarland and Kruder, but I hate to pick somebody that's going to skew the remaining picks for their teams. But if that's all they left me with, which it is, looks like it's really all I've got, well, I'll take Kruder. He's got a slightly better on base. Whatever, it really doesn't matter. He's not going to play much for me. And then I need a backup infielder. And then I'm just going to focus on a couple relievers, and we'll let the computer take the wheel for me and pick the rest of my team here. I am curious now if this is something that they considered patched in the 96 version. So maybe while this, once I set it up for the computer to finish my draft, I'm going to poke around in the README files from 96 and see if that's something that they claimed is fixed. So I don't even really care if this guy has a low number of at-bats or anything, but do we have any second base shortstops? Second base, first base, interesting. Shortstop, second base, Branson. Alright, I don't want to think too hard on this. Graybeck. Looks like Branson's my guy. Louis Soho out there, but he only has 47 ABs. So Branson is the pick here. Alright, round 21. And then maybe I'll do a couple relievers and let the computer run with this for the remainder. And hopefully put some pitchers on those other teams, because unless I'm going to hit off a tee, this is going to be really interesting. recognize most of these names. Oh, Steve Scarsone. Is it Scarsone? Scarsoni? I'm not sure. Alright, let's click over to pictures here. Show pitching. Go by games. Mike Jackson's still here with his 81 games. Xavier Hernandez, though, I like his numbers a little bit better, so we'll go with him. Guess I could click on this and make it go a little bit faster now. Let's see. I could do that. Just figured that out in round 23. Oh, look at that. I see a couple of pitchers coming off the board. Look at that. Crazy. Okay. Alright, maybe get a left-handed reliever here. What do we got? Ossenmacher, Fossis, Rob Murphy. Actually decent numbers out of David West there. Rich Rodriguez. Alright, Kevin Rogers was on my fantasy team. Going with Kevin Rogers. There we go. Now we got a lot of pitchers coming off the board finally. So Clemens, Beck, there's Fernandez, Zapier. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Yeah, definitely a glitch in the algorithm is what I would suspect. So it's not that he won't pick pitchers, but it's not a priority. Grab one more decent reliever here. Mel Rojas was another guy I had, so Mel Rojas it here. And I'm going to go until round 25, and then I'm going to let the computer go. Doc Gooden. Okay, Bill Swift. Alright, some decent pitchers coming off at least. There goes Eldred. Okay, good. Should I get one more, like, kind of like a backup starter? Look at all these guys with 200 innings out here. Yikes. Sort by ratio here. El Cid. Let's just do that in case we need to fill in here. El Cid. Okay. Alright. Keep going. Yeah, I'll continue on. So I think we're starting to crank through this a little bit more since I realized I could click on that. Let's look at games. reliever here. Actually, go back to ratio. Decent ratio, not high saves because I don't need another closer. I'm going to leave Mike Jackson out here. I'm going to take him, so gone. Right? And maybe we'll get another batter or two just as fill-ins. See what's left on that side. Okay, we're into round 27. I don't know how many rounds we're going to go here. So, show batting. Let's see, homers. How about steals? I don't know if we have a lot of speed. Lance Blankenship as a backup. Center field / second base. We need backups at both of those spots, so sure. I know his batting average stinks, but whatever. Not any other speed out there to speak of, really. And McFarlane, I'm not going to take because I don't need a third catcher. Cianfrocco. Greg Litton, left field, first base, 299 hitter. Sure. Yep, we're grabbing you. I was going to say he should really be taking all pitchers now. There's hardly anything left over here on the batting side, so. And maybe just one more backup. Yeah, Rene Gonzalez. Sure. All right, and we'll round it out with pitching, I think, because there's really not much over on the batting side that I need or want at this point. Okay. Tom Glavine, 22 wins, still out there. Why is he still there, guys? Why? I don't understand this. Jose Batista, decent starter reliever. It's not Joey Bats, it's it's Jose J. Batista, I believe. Okay, let's go by just games, I guess. How about ratio? Let's see. Ratio with some decent number of games. Jim Poole, Jay Howell. Another lefty, David West. So I think I'm going to go with, I know his numbers aren't great here, but one of my favorite pitchers for my fantasy team back in the day, Mark Wohlers. Take him. He didn't have any saves that year. I think that's when they were still doing like Greg McMichael and Mike Stanton and a couple other guys in their bullpen. So we will do that. We're in round 33 here. Don't know how many rounds we go. But I know when it's doing the sort here, we're running out of pitchers, so let's look at, we could confuse people. We've got Pedro J. Might as well get Pedro A. Martinez, right? Sure, let's do that. We'll take, I don't know, let's see. You know what? I like Al Leiter. It looks like he's a starter reliever here, so we'll do that. His whip is a little bit high, but whatever. Okay, most of the starters came off the board, it looks like. And yeah, not much in the way of decent pitchers left here. Going by whip again. Jim Poole has a decent whip. Rick Honeycutt. I'll go Jim Poole, sure. Round 35. Got to be wrapping this up soon. I think we're down to 100 and some odd players, right? So maybe 4 more rounds. Maybe we go to round 40. I guess we'll find out. Okay, now he's pulling out guys I've never even heard of. Okay. Let's go with Rick Honeycutt. Alright, yeah, looks like it's all pitchers now. Good. And Mark Dewey. Oh, skip draft, huh? Interesting. Okay. Okay, one more. Tony Castillo. Nope, round 40. Hopefully this is the last one. Go with Steve Fry, sure. Everybody else is skipping. Round 41. Skip draft. Okay, I think we're done. So, well, I don't want to reset teams, I just did this. Let's look at my roster, maybe. Okay, did I fill all the positions? I hope I did. Okay, we got Bagwell at first. We got Bell, Blankenship, and Brocious in center. Let's go positionally, though. Gallego's my second baseman. I think Blankenship can fill in there. Shortstop, I've got Fryman, Green, Branson. Fryman's actually going to be my third baseman. I've got Rene Gonzalez also as a backup. Outfield of Bell, as far as starters are. Tony Phillips was the other guy. Okay, I wasn't sure if I got him or not. Tony Phillips in left. Or Conine in left. Alright, we'll figure that all out. Chili Davis. And then I've got Piazza and Kruger as my catchers. And if I look at my pitchers, I've got a really good staff here, I would say. Let's look at, why am I looking at hold runners, right? Let's look at available. Johnson, Finley, Smoltz, Maddox, Key. Pedro Martinez. You know what? If it's Pedro 93, I think he was mostly a reliever. That's fine. I've got plenty of guys here. El Cid, got Leiter, and then I got a ton of relievers. I did get Wetland and Harvey. Okay, interesting. So I'll have to. Let's look at this then. Team. Where am I going to? Show. Alright, well, let's mess with this since I'm here, right? Let's do batting versus righties, right? Actually, I probably need to do defense versus first. And I didn't get a second right fielder, so I think I am looking at Chili Davis in right field here. Oh, and I can do Tony Phillips at second. Okay, so I don't have to use Gallego there. This is versus righties. So, Willie Green was awful. See, so I'm glad I got Gallego. Alright. Let's see that I went off of Willie Green's ratings. That's why those ratings are not really a good indicator. So let's look at DH is going to be out of all these guys. Good question. Good question. You know what? Maybe we'll do this. Maybe we're going to try Willie Green as my DH. No, that's not drag and drop. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, we're gonna have to clip that. Cool. All right, interesting. Okay, so the game completed the draft, and I have to pause the video and splice this section in because the game crashed on me when I tried to add a DH to my lineup. So I'm going to see if it's going to automatically insert a DH. So if I go to association, right, data, I do have a designated hitter selected for both leagues. And I'm not going to actually do it, but when I went to my roster, right, so here's my batting order, right, it's got a pitcher's slot for number 9. If I do defense, and I went to put a designated hitter in, and the game crashed. So I'm going to leave it blank and see if it substitutes a DH on its own. If it doesn't, that just may be one of the unresolved bugs from the 94 version of this game. And I'm assuming it was corrected in later versions, but I haven't gone into the README files to really dig into that at any rate. So just briefly show you my defense versus righties and lefties and my pitching roles and so forth. And hopefully it doesn't crash on me again. So here's my versus right-handers. I've got Piazza. This does show where they are in the lineup. I can also go to my batting order and show you that. But all right, so in fact, let's do that. So these are that's my versus righty. I'll show you versus lefty real quick here. I think it's the same basically. Yeah, looks like it's the same. So here's my batting order. Phillips, Bell, Fryman, Piazza, Bagwell, Davis, Gallego, Conine. So let's see if I can swap these a little bit. Let's say, okay. Well, I don't want Chile hitting second, but who do I want up second here? Let's say Conine. All right, Conine up second. Let's go with Bagwell third, maybe. Bagwell third. Piazza. Davis. Fryman. Bell, Gallego, maybe. Piazza, Davis, Fryman. Why is it swapping that? There we go. Nope. There we go. Phillips, Conine, Bagwell, Piazza, Davis, Fryman, Bell, Gallego, pitcher, which hopefully it substitutes a DH here. And then let's do that for lefties. Conine, Piazza, Bagwell. How about Bagwell? Bagwell, Piazza, Davis, Fryman, Bell, Gallego. Sure, looks good. Let's look at my pitching staff roles. So curiously, it put Brian Harvey in AAA for me, and even though, let me just go back here for a moment. So if I go to data, yes, we want to save. Right, I unchecked all this computer GM stuff. The only thing I want the computer GM is to handle the amateur draft, which is in probably June. Alright, so unchecked all that, saved it, and I want to go back to roster. No, where was I? Okay. Reassign players. Right? The only thing I can do, let's say I wanted to move Jose Bautista down to AAA. Right now it's not letting me. I don't know if I need to advance one day. Normally this would light up, but you can see the only thing that's lit up here is release, which I don't want to do. And so Harvey is stuck here. If I click on him, my only option is to release him as of this day, which I don't want to do, so I'm going to cancel out of here. So anyway, my pitching staff is fine. Johnson, Finley, Maddox, Smoltz, Key. What if I move Maddox up to here? Nope, hold on. I want Maddox. Where's Maddox? Maddox. There we go. Maddox there. And long relief. Thinking Batista should be in long relief. There. And we want to take Xavier Hernandez to set up man. There we go. Oh. And okay, so here's the American League. The algorithm for drafting players in this game I'm not a fan of, at least not the 94 edition. And again, I'm not sure if, just because I haven't been able to get 96 and 98 up and running, I'm not sure if they corrected any of those flaws. But yeah, he was really some odd picks by the computer GM. But anyway, this is just a tutorial anyway, so we're going to go ahead and run this and see what happens. So we've got our schedule, we've got our teams, simulate. Let's just do today's game only. Let's see if we can get through a day's worth of games here. All right. And get this little stopwatch icon that pops up. And unlike other games, even back in the day, this game takes a long time to simulate individual games for some reason. So I can maybe crank up the CPU speed on my DOS box. I don't know if that'll help a bit. So that might be an option here. And we can just sit here and stare at the stopwatch. There we go. All right. So you can see the outs and the score changing, right? So let me take a stab at this here, cranking the CPU cycles on DOSBox. Let's see if it speeds things up at all, or if it crashes this. All right, I've tripled the speed that I had it initially set to, so it's not awful. But if you're used to any of the current, Out of the Park, Action PC, Digital Diamond, so on and so forth, APA Baseball for Windows, Strat, PC Replay, Pure Sim, whatever, all of these current games, and even going back to the, back in the day, the Tony La Russa games, all of these programs, Pursue the Pennant, Diamond Mind, I could probably sit here and go on and on. But anyway, what I'm getting at is they all quick-simmed games within, let's say a day's worth of games were done under a minute or two. So this is like painfully slow to sit here and watch a day's worth of games. So what my plan is, we're just going to go through this day. We'll click on the box scores just to see, because I don't even know who wound up on all these teams. I wasn't paying super close attention to the other rosters while the computer was drafting selecting their players. So maybe we'll do that. We'll go through box scores for a single day, and then I'll run this kind of in the background, not in the video, and then I'll bring the video back once. We'll see how far we can get. The last time I tried to simulate a season with Front Page Sports Baseball 94, I got to the All-Star break and it would not allow me to advance past it. So, and I don't think it was the options that I selected. Again, the game was extremely buggy, and even with the multiple patches, there were still problems. So. But this is a tutorial, so for the purposes of the tutorial, we're going to see how far this will take us. And one of the issues with this is that it doesn't do a one-pitch mode, right? So you can see that it's actually cranking through the counts it's delivering a pitch for everyone who steps to the plate is getting, probably multiple pitches. Um, so this was painfully slow back in the day on an old whatever whatever was required, some type of Pentium machine. I forget the minimum requirements, but um, now if you prefer to play a game where it's like where it's full pitch mode versus one pitch mode, um, this game had. It, I was really disappointed by uh, the amount of issues with this game because when it came out, there were a lot of positive previews written, and I think that's really before those folks got the final release copy in their hands and just didn't really dig down and recognize all of the bugs that were in the final release product. But the graphics are really cool. There's some great sound effects and neat features with the camera system, and so it's one of those games that looks really nice, sounds really nice, but in execution, in my opinion, not a great sim. Again, just my opinion. Might be folks out there that played a lot of FPS baseball back in the day and enjoyed it, so I don't want to rain on anybody's parade. I'm just stating my experience with the game, right? So, um, and there are certain things that might have factored in with, my graphics or sound card or some other issue with my computer back in the day. But since I've run into the same issues here 30 some odd years later in DOSBox, I don't think it was my machine specifically, and I have read a number of comments and articles to that point where, that this game was kind of a bug-ridden mess. I will say when for some reason, I don't know why I can't get 98 working now, but Front Page Sports Baseball at 98, I did have a lot better luck with. So it seemed like they fixed a lot of the issues with it. So kudos to the folks at Dynamics. They developed the game and they stuck with it through several iterations there, and did fix most of the issues. I wish they had waited to release the initial game. I'm sure they were pressured to get it out the door, and it just wasn't ready for prime time. All right, so again, we're still sitting here on day one, right? Where a lot of other sims, even back in the day, but definitely current sims, you'd be already, we'd be in the month of May at least, maybe June. So it is what it is, right? Okay, processing the games. Fingers crossed that we don't crash. All right, processing injuries, and it crashed on me. Yay. Okay. So, let me fire it up again and see. Okay, that didn't even bring me back to the association that I had loaded. So let's go back to 94 Draft League. It did advance one day, so that's cool. Why did it crash? I don't know. And I think this might have been the issue that I had with this back when I was writing a review for it a couple of years ago. is that it just crashed like after every single day. Um, can I go? Trying to remember how to do this. Show date. All right, can I go back to the 7th? Yes, I can. Can I click on one of these and view the box score? Okay, so far so good. All right, so the New York Mets, New York N, right? So the Mets team drafted this lineup here. So Knobloch, Deion Sanders, Tony Gwynn, Joe Carter, Cal Ripken. So pretty stacked top of the order there. Home runs by Ripken and Tim Hewlett. And over here, the San Diego Club, Fletcher, Olu, Valentin, Herbeck, McReynolds, Pendleton, Parrish, Parker, and Perry. And they got a home run out of John Valentin. Stolen base by Lance Parrish. Wow, okay. All right, now if I want to show pitching. All right, Clemens. Watson got the win in relief in the 12th inning, looks like. So San Diego pulls out a 3-2 win in extras. Jack McDowell goes 11 innings for the Mets. Interesting. And they brought in Charles Nagy in relief. He took the loss. So, highlights. Okay. Check out the highlights here. Valentin. And that's his. Okay. Let's get out of that. But that's neat, right? I'm saying there's a lot of cool things that they tried to incorporate in this. And this was kind of built off of, if anybody's familiar with front page sports football, right? You'll notice a lot of similarities. That was the first game that they did in the front page sports series, so I guess they built off of some of those modules. All right, well, let's take a look at this. Montreal at Houston. Oh, I have highlights selected, so here's highlights. I don't want to do that. Can I get out of this? Exit stadium, yes. No. I don't want to do any of this. Play and watch, save for later, simulate. It should already be done. Come on. I'll just let it run, I guess. I don't know why it's doing that. Oh, it's playing the game on the 8th. Okay, I didn't want to do that either. I'm going to bump up the cycles in DOSBox here. Maybe it'll crank through this quicker. All right. Let me go back to the 7th. Thank you. I was in the NL. And I just want to see the box score. There we go. All right. All right, well, I'm not going to do highlights again. So, all right, Montreal. Gibson at third base. Interesting. Why? I'm assuming that's Kirk Gibson. I don't know. Gary Redus knocked in 3. All right. Lenny Dykstra hitting cleanup. Molitor hitting 9th. So kind of an odd lineup choice there. Houston, we have Larkin playing 3rd. Yeah, a lot of oddness in the algorithm for this game. So again, your opinion of the game, your I don't know, just not really a fan of this. I wanted to include it for the sake of completeness, for to show that there was a draft module here. But would I use this for any serious simulation? No. Gotta be honest, I would not. And not that other games don't have their quirks, don't get me wrong. I don't really want to bash on anybody's game in particular. It's just, I really wish I had more positive things to say about this one, but I don't. Let's go back to the schedule. I will just do a few of these here, right? I don't even think I'm going to bother doing a full. I don't think I can because it seems to crash after every day. But also to say that if you can get a number of folks that, oh, there it goes, it crashed again. I'm going to fire it up one more time. But again, just to show you. Okay, so if I'm not demonstrating how wonderful this game is, all right. So, well, let's not even bother with that. Let's just look at the stats, right? Here's the standings. All right, since I accidentally simmed that Montreal game, they're up by a half a game now in the standings. Again, not a lot of the sims back in the 1994 time frame had all of this information. There was like really a lot of thought that went into the amount of data that was captured here. It's just a matter of that a lot of it wasn't fully tested, right? So if I'm being honest, basically like the 96 version was really like the patched, yes, there were other improvements and different things, but it was really like that people beta tested the 94 version, and Dynamics releasing the 96 game was kind of the culmination of, all of, beta testing by a number of people that actually went out and bought the thing in 94. So what am I looking at here? Statistics. Oh, these are team stats, right? So this is, right, so I can see just for that one game, that the New York Urban struck out 16 times. Now this is by team, so I can do by players. And again, it's only one game worth, so. But we can see who homered in the first day there. So we know that Valentin, we know that Hewlett and Ripken did. Okay, Gary Reedus homered, Andre Scalaraga. This is the National League side. Let's see on the AL who did what. All right, Vinny Castilla, Randy Velarde, Roberto Alomar, Lofton, Amaro, Olerud, and Shipley all homered in day one there. And let's look at the pitchers, pitching stats. Okay, a couple guys going 8 innings. Yeah, Randy Johnson had 12 Ks for me. Now let's look at my box score, just out of curiosity here. Right, gotta go back to day April 7. So I won 2-zip. Tony Phillips had 2 hits. Chili Davis knocked in a run. Bagwell had 2 hits. So offensively, I didn't do great. There we go. It did put a DH in for me. Chad Kruder, nice. See on the Boston side of things, Biggio, Puckett, Griffey Jr. Got pretty stacked batting order there. And he put in Dave Valley. But look, he's putting the DH in ninth. I don't know if that's consistent across the board, but that's kind of not really. We would want the DH to be inserted in a variety of places in the lineup, not just ninth. There was a rain delay at 17 minutes in the seventh inning. Time, temperature, wind. Let's look at the pitching. Randy Johnson pitched Randy Johnson-like. And I believe we looked at the pitching roles pregame, and Wetland was my closer and Hernandez was my setup man, but for some reason he flip-flopped that. So we do have the number of pitches, number of strikes here. Pitching on their side. All right, why is Rich Monteleone getting 8 innings in a starting role? Might have something to do with the computer GM not picking pitchers until round number 20 something. So at any rate, I think we're going to wrap the tutorial here. There's just no way that I'm going to play a whole season in this game. Unfortunately, we've seen it crash a few times on us here, so I don't want to put anybody through that. If anybody does get Front Page Sports Baseball 98 up and running, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you did to do that, because just like I said, no luck. VirtualBox, no luck on my XP machine. So, the 96 and 98 games were basically for Windows 95, 98. So VirtualBox, I'm running Windows 98. I've got a number of other games playing in there with no issues. So that's going to be a wrap here for Front Page Sports Baseball 94 tutorial, draft tutorial. All right. Again, hope you've enjoyed this. If you have better luck with 94, let me know as well. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I don't think that's the case, but all right, folks. Take care. Thanks for watching. Keep playing ball. We'll see you soon.